beer in the creation. Just a few batches, managed to get some time and put a few on, and we've got a cider going crazy as well. This is about 28 hours in on a what we got, wine yeast on that one. We've got red wine brewing on this one. You can see plenty of airlock activity. We've got a mead in this one. Nearly did Croydon out yesterday at the airlock, but managed to calm down a bit. As you can see, that's going well. And we have the mystery brew in this one, which did Croydon up almost to get the point where the blow off tube was needed, but it seems to have calmed down. The heads dropped right away now, but it's still fizzling away furiously, chewing through all those sugars. I did have a little bit of footage of this yesterday, but unfortunately I've deleted it tonight when I cleared all the brewery footage on my camera. Anyway, I'll go and mount the camera and sit down. Anyway, yeah, so we managed to get a little bit of a brew day in, not quite what I was expecting. I was going to do a cider with apples, which is normally how you do a cider, but I was going to use my blender to chop them up and then manually squeeze the juice out, and the blender didn't do a lot of blending. I cut a few apples up, chucked them in, the blender blade spun round, cut through them, and they didn't descend and chop up, so that blew that idea out of the water. I had bought some apple juice just to top up if I had any shortfall on the cider batch, but I ended up just using the 4 litres of cider straight in the demi, and used the juice up with some wine concentrate and made the batch of wine. Been meaning to do the honey mead for I don't know how long, so while I was out and I had the demijohns ready, whacked that in and done one of my experimental malt brews as well. So we've got a gallon batch of the X Ale Project X, so we'll see what that comes out like in a little while. And there's only one thing better than a homebrew, well, a good homebrew anyway, is a good craft brew. If you're into craft brew, then maybe a free beer, or 4 beers, or 4 free beers. Yay! No, not all day IPA, that was just a box I used from work. Got a hot mountain one as well. But I've got a old golden hen, which is a sister of the speckled hen from Moorland, aka Green King. Banks's bitter, every supermarket does that one. They were a couple of bingo prizes from the in-laws, so they came home with me, and when I popped into work they decided to give me some brewery samples that have been sent by some nice breweries that want us to stock the beers. So we've got Jennings Cockatoo and a Marston's EPA. So we have a few more brew stocks to replenish and taste. Don't worry, Cheshire Homebrew, or Cheshire as we call it around here. I have still got your Cooper's English bitter. I have had one myself, but obviously last week I was crammed with IT issues and just done a quick update homebrew. This week is pretty much the same because I've got dramas with the wife's laptop now. So I'm going through all the downloads off of Samsung to find the right drivers to make it go back on the internet so that you can solve the other issues. But that is pretty much it. I've done me brews. I was hoping to have a bit more time and get some bigger batches done. Priced up some gas locally for me burner, and they want 60 quid locally. I can go 10 miles up the road and save myself a tenner, and another £4 something on the smaller bottle. So when I get a chance, I should be chucking the 19 and 47 kilo cylinders and going into Cambridge here to buy cheaper gas. It'll save me about £15. Obviously I'm going to lose a fiver in juice, but if it's cheaper, it's cheaper. It's the principle. And I'll always find something else to do out there. Anyway, that's going to be it from me. I can't really tell you much else, other than we'll cut through straight to the other section, which I said last week, which will be the Adnams brewery tour. I managed to cobble the snippets of video together, so we've got a tour footage of about 10 minutes of various sections of the brewery and the tastings. So I'll say hasta la vista, baby. Anyway, Adnams brewery tour.
Survived that war, and after that war he came to Southwold. Does it need to right. We normally have a look around. The distribution centre was moved from inside Southwold to outside Southwold. Just a bit too far for the horses. Not quite the same. Been away. I've been away for 24 years. On borehole, and already before World War II, they needed to do work to the sea defences. Yeah, I don't know if you're aware. If I hadn't done any work, I'll probably be talking to you. Best water, but far from Burton-on-Trent. So when you Burtonise water, you filter it through charcoal. Yeah, charcoal filter. So we do this on a slightly bigger scale, and charcoal takes all the taste, the smells of the water, totally neutralises it, and then we add some minerals, and that makes, very nice beers. Yeah. The yeast we use is a yeast we got a long time ago from Morgan's brewery in Norwich. Yeah, and of course yeast is something every time we brew it multiplies 3 to 4 times, so we end up with literally mountains of the stuff. But now we got an anaerobic digester they told you about in the film. So waste like that goes to the anaerobic digester and is turned into methane gas and goes back into natural grid. So it's quite green. Yeah, we try to be, as a company, we try to be very, very green. Our brewery was installed in 2008, and it is very much into the controls. Yeah. Why do we crush the malt? When we crush the malt, we expose the starches. Yeah, and we are now upstairs. It's slowly turned around, and it's heated up to between 60. So our crushed malt with sugars is now in here, and it gets sprayed with hot water and. Because we're boiling here, yeah? The liquid is in here. we could, yeah, the hops are sitting ready to go in, waiting there. And in the beginning the hops go in to bitter it, and we could always add some more hops at the end of the process to give more aroma. But as I said, sometimes they use 5 different hops, yeah, all the flavors.
Never mind.
Needs to be filmed first. Station, yeah? The parts are all stainless steel because it's a huge investment. So when they come back to the pub, we yeah? So they always give that first, that's nice. We'll start with that. Not like it.
What would you call Adnams' signature beer? Well, there is a signature beer. Is there a beer?
Broadside is a signature beer that's really broadside. These all this one's now empty. The Adnams beers are only Adnams broadside, that probably, and actually ghost ship sales are going through the roof as well, especially in the summer. Maybe now it's going down a bit, but that's nice summer beer.
There's a lot more English beers making it to the US, Australia and New Zealand.
It seems that the Americans now make the best beers and the most beers, and they have this incredible capacity as well.
Craft beer explosion in the US.
Exactly. But then, what they call a craft beer, or craft beer, is that's made on a huge scale. If I think craft,
Yeah, I mean people like Dogfish Head are minuscule in the situation of breweries on scale in the States, but they're one of the biggest craft brewers. And they'll supply the American
are you
market.
a wholesaler for beers?
No, a retailer.
A retailer?
Yeah.
Was not the Weatherspoons one.
So you sell it in
Well, there's
bottle?
not, is that one?
Bottle, only bottle.
This one is the one that is.
Bottles, the mini kegs like you had in the bottling plant.
Yeah.
And we sell at Woodford's Wherry. We go there and get their kegs.
Yeah.
If people request them for a wedding or
And that's in
something, we'll do the
Kingston?
cast. Yeah, it's just on the outskirts of Kingston.
Which one of these is the Weatherspoons? That's the old
That one.
That's the Weatherspoons one.
It is wine heavy. Yeah. I can just drink this. It's nice though. I like this. It has lots of flavour, and I suppose I love that licorice. First in our series of Jack Brand beers. So just clear your palates because you're going for your wine tasting.
And then from there to the spirits. How long will it still take to get our...
In the distillery, and it changes the strength from beer strength to spirit strength, about 43. Soften it all down in a barrel for just under a year, and when you smell it you'll get wooden spirit like you would on a whiskey or a brandy, but here you'll remember the fruitcakeness of the beer. So give it a try. It's an old traditional, old styled type of spirit which almost died out because they stopped the travelling stills. Thank you. In Europe, Germany, France, Belgium, you'll find that they're still common. But here in England, where the legislation shows that you have to have both sets of equipment on the same site, you know, in England it's not so common anymore. Thank you very much. I had to keep you. You're the best waiter I've had today.
Whiskey notes, isn't it?
Yeah. If you're a fan of the broadside, you will recognise the same characteristics. But for those of you who are not into heavy beers, it is quite a shock to try it.